Today we have this area of disturbed weather with a 20% chance of formation, both from lasting news and the 5-day National Hurricane Center weather outlook. So we haven't went in and made one ourselves right now, but this is what we do have going on. This system's going to be moving north before taking a curve west or east, and it does have a 20% chance for that development. Now, looking at the satellite imagery, it looks fine for subtropical characteristics. Definitely won't be a subtropical storm or a tropical storm, but it could potentially acquire those subtropical characteristics if it is able to maintain itself. At the moment, here's that system again. You do see it's not tropical. You do see that kind of L shape that shows subtropical characteristics. That's why Cristobal was almost named subtropical when it had that weird uh, big band thing that was coming down. So that's why it was almost named subtropical. Now this system is going to be potentially acquiring subtropical characteristic. Uh, the center of circulation, it's kind of hard to define right now. It seems like it's around here at the moment, somewhere around here. It seems like. That's why, from what I can see from the satellite imagery, this is what it does seem like it is uh, right now. Maybe potentially like somewhere here or something, but it is in that general area. So I'm just gonna put the L right here. So this is where a low pressure system is right now, with those rain bands and clouds kind of wrapping around with that weird half circle shape, which is why it would be subtropical. Now, as we move into the next couple of days, this is pretty much what this system is going to be taking on. It's going to be moving north before taking that turn to the east. Now, lots of systems do form that far north. Don't think that's too north. I know Rita, Ophelia, lots of systems form that for north, but usually not in that time of the year, which is why um, it's not likely to form at this point, as the system is going to be moving that way in the next couple of days, but it's not very likely to form at that point. Um, but still a 20% chance. Looking at the foreskin models, you do see that system right here, pretty well defined on the GFS. So it is well defined on the GFS. Now, does it show it acquiring those characteristics? No, it does not. So, could it just stay a well defined area of disturbance, or, tropical area, if even tropical at this point? We're just gonna have to see. The CMC also very well defined, doesn't really show it become anything tropical, but it could still happen. I mean, it doesn't show it become tropical. That does not mean it won't happen, of course. Like, it just kind of show it dissipates after, but it doesn't mean it won't happen. It could still get the subtropical characteristics. Icon also, they're all showing that well defined, and it does spin out. Now, it is expected from what I'm seeing here to pretty much dissipate in the next 42 hours, according to the icon. Um, According to the GFS, they're all expecting it to pretty much dissipate in the next 42 hours. So if it is going to be forming, it's pretty much going to have to form right now, but it is pretty well defined from what I'm seeing right now. So we could definitely be seeing that system um, form as it's going to be heading out now. I mean, maybe it could just kind of stay around here. If it does stall in this general area, maybe even go back down. Those systems do generally do that sometimes, depending on where that high pressure system is. If the high pressure system's around here, right? I mean, it could just kind of spin up down. That's what it sometimes those kind of systems do. But it's going to be staying in that general area, and it does seem like the system is expected to do something like that. And it could definitely form, if it does not dissipate out, like I was talking about. And the East Pacific, by the way, while we are at it, we have 3 areas of formations. It's getting pretty active here in the East Pacific. First of all, we have an area for 40%, 30%, 30%. It's getting very, very active here in the Pacific. So here's those 2 already well-defined areas right here. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that when they do form. But there's 2 well-defined area. Um, they're trying to split apart, and then there's that potential um, area of moisture that could be that third well-defined area in the next 5 days, or even this one if it does kind of split apart. But we're getting into that part of the year where just East Pacific storm is going to be rolling out of that, just like a factory machine. Central Pacific, by the way, still nothing there, but just blob of cloud. But back to the Atlantic, this could potentially be Dolly, and I was spot on with that center of circulation, right where it was supposed to be. Now, if you go to Mike's weather page to kind of analysis, I do like to do that analysis, the temperatures of that system or the water it's gonna be in and everything. So first of all, if we do look at the shear map, it is in somewhat favorable conditions right now. All right. So if it's gonna be forming, it's just gonna have to be right now. Here's that system. It's kind of like this. Bowling out this way. So center circulation around here. It's in somewhat favorable condition, but if it is gonna form, it's gonna have to form right now. Okay, it's gonna have to form right now because then it's gonna get into the 40 knots until it does get back in that 15 knot area. But at the moment, it's just expected to kind of move north and take that turn, which is gonna really bring it into those very unfavorable conditions. So if it is gonna form, it's really gonna have to be right now if it is gonna form, which is still unlikely at this point. Upper steering map. Let's see here. So we're gonna have to see if it does end up forming or not at this point. But we could have on our hands a tropical Dolly. Now, it's not expected to impact any areas. By the way, the 3.4 index continues to rise once again. It looks like it'll be staying neutral this year, which is better than a La Nina because that means we might not get as strong of a season as originally expected. But if we do look at the Western Atlantic, I think nope, not Western Atlantic. If we look at the North Atlantic, I'm just trying to know where tropical Atlantic. Nope. Okay, we're just. Uh, if we do look at the North Atlantic right now, again, that system is in very cold waters. Now again, if it is gonna form, it's gonna have to be right now because it's like around here, and it's gonna be getting in those potential area of 27 knots at some point. So let me just see. Right now, let's see where it is here. It is right off the coast of Virginia. Yeah. So right now, it's in those like 26 to 27 waters. So if it is going to form again, it's going to be to have right now as it's going to be moving that way into those very unfavorable waters down to 13, 10 knots in some areas. So if we are going to be seeing this subtropical storm Dolly, it's going to have to be pretty much in the next 12 to 24 hours. Otherwise, we pretty much won't see it. So, that's kind of where we are right now with the system. That's pretty much gonna wrap it up. So